Hello once again, everyone. A fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Had to take a couple of days off, but we are back this evening, and we've got a lot to talk about as we roll on through May and head towards Memorial Day weekend, believe it or not, in about 10 days. We've got a lot of challenges here in the short term and the longer range as well. So let's do a little review of today. First of all, of course, it was warm today. About as warm as we expected. Our forecast today was for 84. We hit 85 this afternoon. It was close to 90 in Cleveland and Toledo, as well as Detroit. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh hit a high of 85 this afternoon. Also fairly muggy today. Those dew points were elevated throughout the day. Tomorrow's big picture looks like this. Much cooler day. Our forecast tomorrow, 69 degrees. That is pretty close to where we should be at this time of the year, so it'll be a much more seasonable day. Pretty far off the record low and the record high tomorrow. Both those are out of reach. And interestingly, with the recent warmer weather, our May rankings, at least in terms of temperatures, are not quite as impressive as they were. We were running, the coolest May on record for a while there. But if May ended today, it would be the 11th coolest May on record. Again, thanks to the warm-up lately, those numbers are looking a little more unimpressive. Cooler air is coming back, though. I'll show you that in just a second. We had one kind of lonely thunderstorm earlier on that produced some decent-sized hail as it moved through Lisbon and intensified and headed over towards East Palestine and Unity and over towards Newcastle as well. This produced some hail that in some places was pea-sized, but I saw a couple of pictures on social media of almost quarter-size hail in a few spots, and this prompted a severe thunderstorm warning as it rolled through northeastern Columbiana and into Lawrence County. That is long gone. We're going to keep an eye on this action to our north and west this evening. When I recorded Weather Geeks this evening at 7:17 p.m., one storm had prompted a warning, probably due to some hail, north of Lima. Otherwise, most of this is fairly unimpressive. I'm not expecting a real rambunctious night in terms of thunderstorms out there tonight. Severe thunderstorm watch continues up in the northern tier of PA and over into the upstate of New York and into Vermont as well. That's where the severe weather risk will be highest for the rest of the evening. And of course, it's a big area covered by a tornado watch out across the middle of the country. This is a big ticket severe weather outbreak already. Many reports of tornadoes and a relatively rare, high risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center in places such as Wichita and heading down into northwestern parts of Oklahoma. High risks are issued out here in this part of the country occasionally, but not very often. It is reasonably rare. And so far, 15 reports of tornadoes in parts of northern Texas, Oklahoma, and into Kansas. A lot of hail and a lot of damaging winds as well. Now, it's easy to pick out where our game changer is here, our cold front, which is slowly but surely making some south and eastward progress. I'm going to draw that front. It's pretty easy to pick out. It's right about here. It's 90 in St. Louis, but 60 in Des Moines, 62 in Dubuque, and it's only in the 50s in Minneapolis. That's the air mass that's coming our way. If you're not a fan of running the AC this early in the year, if you long for some cooler weather, tomorrow's your day. It'll also be less humid. It's pretty muggy out there today. We had dew points and continue to have dew points that are elevated up in the 60s. But look at the drier air north and west of us coming our way for tomorrow. So again, not expecting this activity to be all that impressive as it rolls through later this evening. We're losing the heating of the day. Could there be a loud thunderstorm in a couple of spots? It's possible. Midnight, 1 a.m. perhaps. But I'm not expecting this to be any sort of big outbreak. All that heads off to the east, and we'll get into some sunshine tomorrow morning. Should be a pretty nice Friday. Here's a look at Friday. Now, I'm going to disagree some with this particular computer model. I think it is too cloudy and too aggressive in trying to bring moisture back tomorrow. Taken literally, this kind of looks like a fairly cloudy day for us, and it even tries to shove some of this moisture back into northeast Ohio by the end of the day. Not buying that. There's no other model support right now for this. Now, the trend bears watching, but I'm going to, keep a dry forecast out there for Friday for a while anyway, and I think you'll see a decent amount of sunshine. Now, as we go into the day on Saturday, I think this looks about right. High pressure is going to be up over Quebec and should funnel in enough dry air that we'll get a mix of sun and clouds and stay dry on Saturday. If you have outdoor plans, Saturday's your day of this weekend, because Sunday looks pretty unsettled. As this low-pressure system moves through the Great Lakes, it'll turn warmer and more humid on Sunday. Pretty good chance of showers and storms, and although the dynamics don't look all that impressive with this, it's a pretty strong cold front, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of stronger storms tried to form in the warm sector around here Sunday afternoon. Now, we're going to get a break from those high dew points for a couple of days, tomorrow and Saturday, but look at the dew point spike ahead of that system on Sunday. Dew points can spike up into the upper 60s. It's going to get muggy again, but that's the last muggy day we're going to have for some time. Dew points crash into the 40s early next week, maybe a one-day spike to about 60 Wednesday, but humidity will not be much of a story for next week. What will be a story is the pattern change. This summer preview will be replaced by the cooler pattern that we had earlier on this month. Big trough digs in across Hudson Bay and into Quebec and Ontario and sets up shop across the Great Lakes. Boy, that's a chilly-looking weather map. A week from today, next Thursday, I have a forecast high of 60. That's about 10 below average for the 25th of May. And while this particular model, I'm showing you the European model here, it tries to moderate the air mass pretty significantly by Memorial Day. This would be Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. This isn't a very cold-looking map. The GFS does look a little bit cooler, so the jury's still out some on the strength of the cold or the cool weather for Memorial Day weekend. I'm hedging towards cool right now. If the European model's onto something, maybe we can improve this forecast some for the holiday weekend. You know, we're looking out in the long range here. This is 10 days from now, but starting middle of next week, pretty consistently cool for at least a handful of days is the way things are looking. So hopefully the European's onto something and we can, you know, warm things up for Memorial Day weekend. But right now, I'm not in that camp. We'll see what tomorrow's suite of models looks like. We get tons and tons of information each day. We have to parse it all, sort it out, and use our experience and knowledge to kind of, you know, take a stab at what we think is most likely to be right. Now, in terms of rain or anything like that, of course, it's way too early to talk about that for Memorial Day weekend. Right now, though, leaning towards a cooler than average, at least start to the weekend. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Another video like this coming your way Friday evening. Have a great Thursday night, and I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock.